Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the SpyShackPodcast, the podcast where superfans get together and chat about the latest episode of Survivor. This week it's just the two of us. It's me and Kim. Kim, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing okay. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good. So, what's your word for the episode?
Oh, I hate the word. Chaos.
Chaos? Okay, I'm gonna go with balls. That's
okay. I see where that's coming from.
Yeah. All right. So we start the episode on day 26, where Dom describes this really weird dream about him and Laurel. It's something about having breakfast somewhere, and they're all like, "Oh, we want food."
Yeah, they're so malnourished, these people.
Yeah. This and Des mentioned that she wanted to stay Navidi strong, but she's also talking to the Malolos about taking out the Navidis because she's bottom of the list there. So she thinks now's a good time to turn on the original Navidis. What do you think about that?
I did think it was a good move. I did think that you're right. She is on the bottom, and now would be the time to flip. Nobody would expect it or suspect it. Either. So I was hoping. I thought this was a great move to be made. I'm like, all right, try to get Kellen out. I'm all down for getting Kellen out, but let's leave Wendell alone. And I've warmed to Dominic, so let's leave Dominic alone too. But I'm all right with getting rid of Kellen. But clearly, Laurel was not having it. What were your thoughts on her flip?
I think originally Laurel might have been okay with it, but if it's gonna affect Dominic and Wendell, whom she's really close with, then she's gonna have a problem with that because, I mean, they're okay with taking out Kellen, of course, because Kellen is a real threat in the game. But Dom and Wendell are some of her closest allies and are, as of right now, carrying her through the game while there's still a whole lot of Navidis out there. So I can see where she might have a problem after taking out Kellen.
Yes, I can definitely see that too.
Yeah.
I wish that I understand why Des felt the way she felt, why Laurel decided she needed to say something to Dominic. I get that because her true alliance is to Dominic and Wendell. But I don't understand why Dominic opened up his freaking mouth.
We'll get to that in a little bit. Des also tells the Malolos that she's got Angela and Chelsea with her, or that she can easily convince them to come with her over to the Malolos. I don't know.
Who?
I don't know how. She said she had. She said.
No, who was it that she had? Who are these people again?
I don't know.
Who's Angela? Because I don't know who this girl is that's playing the game.
Oh, she's the one that ate all that stuff last week.
Yeah, still don't know who she is.
Okay. Fair enough. And then we head over to Reward Challenge. It's where two people free three other people from cages and they complete a puzzle. So they're two teams of 5. But there are 11 people, so one person will not be playing, and the person not playing will not be eligible for the reward, nor will they be eligible for Ghost Island. So the 2 teams of 5 were chosen. The orange team is Michael, Sebastian, Chelsea, Kellen, and Jenna. Purple team has Wendell, Dom, Laurel, Des, and Angela. Jonathan was not picked and is sitting off to the side. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that you're getting left out of the challenge at this point?
A bad thing. I can see it being a good thing to where people are just not seeing you as a threat. But it's also a bad thing when people don't even see you in the game, where maybe you don't have any true alliances, where no one's taking you anywhere. So you're an easy vote out. you're an easy let's just get rid of Donathan next week because he's really, and I don't know, it's not like he's weaker than anyone else. I don't see Donathan as that weak of a player. So I don't understand the strategic reason to keep him out. It's not like he is so much weaker than Chelsea. And I don't think Chelsea's weak. I'm just saying that I just really don't look at him as – I don't want him on our team because he's going to stink so bad we'll lose the challenge.
Yeah. But, it's just the way this challenge is set up. It's 5 people are going to be going on the reward, and 6 people are not. And to actually be part of the 6, where you can have a chance to like flip people over and have majority, I think it might be a better thing that he's not going on that reward. He has a chance
it could have been. Remember when the person who didn't go got to say, okay, I think so and so will win this challenge, and if they're right, they get to go with them. Why not do that?
I don't know.
Because I mean, Jonathan would have probably lost because he would have probably where Laurel was. Laurel, Dominic, and Wendell, because those were his true alliances. So he probably wouldn't win anywhere.
Actually, let me take that back because the winning team also sent somebody from the losing team to Ghost Island, so it's 5-on-5 on either side.
Again, I guess we got to talk about the challenge.
Yeah, we'll talk about the challenge. I don't know why Probst is so obsessed with this orange is a bad color kind of thing. The orange / Mololo team or tribe, it's gone through so many versions. It's not even the same thing as they started from the beginning. So I don't see where that's with it.
You broke up for me.
Oh, so. Sorry. No, I'm saying that Jeff was really obsessed with this Malolo curse.
Yeah, I think he just likes to hear himself talk sometimes because, I mean, if we went from the beginning to who was on that tribe to now, it's vastly different. So it's not like the same people have stunk all season. It's so different that I just think he needs to say something.
Yeah, it's just Malolo itself has gone through 3 versions, and now with this picked team, it's a 4th version of this orange tribe. Then there's really no point in saying that there's this consistent curse.
I agree.
Yeah, and so orange wins.
But we didn't talk about what they did in the challenge at all. So we have to talk about Dominic struggling. They really couldn't get a grasp on how to hold the boat on to each individual raft. Where Michael had no problem. He basically held on to that pier or whatever it was called. Mm-hmm. Everybody got on, and they seemed to have a good strategy to get from point A to point B to point C to point D, and so on. Where Dominic and Wendell struggled rowing the boat, and then Dominic didn't get the grasp of holding on to it because he kept on floating away.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say nothing really matters till you get to the puzzle. At the end of the day, these things don't mean anything until you get to the puzzle. Yeah. Because when there's a puzzle at the end, teams always catch up.
Yeah, and there's some dummy pieces with these puzzles, which is also interesting to see. We don't always get that. It's always like use up all your pieces, and they don't always put in like fake pieces like they do this time.
No, and I like that. I thought that was great because it could have, I wanted Michael to win the reward because I've really liked Michael from the beginning. So I'm like, oh no, because he was so good at solving that puzzle. I'm like, gosh, I hope he's not wrong. I hope he doesn't think he's right. And he has these dummy pieces in there. But, Dominic and Wendell did good on the puzzle too. Dominic did good on that puzzle. Granted, they still lost. Had he not messed up in the the earlier part of the challenge with the boat, I think they would have won.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, that the rowing the boat part and not anchoring the boat to the platforms, it really definitely screwed up the purple team. So yeah, and with that, orange wins, and they decided to let purple draw rocks, and with there not being a game last week on Ghost Island, I kind of saw something coming.
Yes, and yeah. Angela goes to Ghost Island.
Mm-hmm. Angela goes to Ghost Island, and then we head back to La Vida. Mike is trying to convince some of the Navidi people to try to keep him. Like he's like, I'm a loyal vote, and you guys can have me. You've seen how loyal I was to some of the other people that I had in the game. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah, but
and Sebastian looks like, well, maybe. Chelsea was like, maybe it's something, and then you hear Kellen in her confession like, absolutely not.
Not. Yeah.
Nope. We're going to talk about Kellen a bit. Not now, but later, and how much she aggravated me this episode.
I think she's just holding on a little too strong. Like, but you know, there's still 7 of them, and you know, with 4 easy pickings, it's hard for you to step off that comfort zone and say, let's try something else. You know, and she's kind of banking on the 7.
It wasn't her inability to see maybe of keeping Michael. I can understand how she feels that that's not good overall. Mm-hmm. It was just her arrogance and her ego that got to me this episode. And it could just be how it was edited. But I she really aggravated me. And yes, it's probably because I like Michael a whole lot. But at the end of the day, you know, it was just the way she said it. It could have just been like, yeah, we're not keeping Michael. I understand that maybe Sebastian and Chelsea think it's a good idea, but at the end of the day, it's not. He has a great game, strategically, socially, athletic. I'd get rid of him.
Yep.
It was just everything about that.
Yeah. And so we head to Ghost Island with Angela, and she breaks the next urn available and says, "Game on." And we follow the fire to another 3 choices, and 2 of them has advantages inside it. And she picks the one to the right and opens it up. It says, "No vote." Yeah.
But I mean, I would have went for it. I mean, at this point, you really have nothing to lose. What's the point?
Yeah, and you're ahead in the votes. Like, whatever, your 1 vote is not really gonna matter that much. You know, if the vote is happening the way it's supposed to. You know, so she's
and
okay
I don't just feel like, and we'll talk about it. These no votes. There's been a few of them so far, and it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. We don't even get to the no vote.
It seems to be that nobody's even noticing.
Nobody notices because unless the votes are close enough and they have to open up that last vote, I don't think they will open it. They will open enough votes to say this person has the majority of the votes, they're out. You know, like we usually do, and then they.
Yeah, and it's aggravating because unless there's someone saying, "Wait a minute, 1 + 2 + 3, what? Wait a minute," and they're going on their fingers like, "Wait, I don't understand. He pulled out this many, but that doesn't make any sense." But nobody's doing that.
No.
And it takes nobody's doing it, but this whole loser vote is losing its excitement when nobody is picking up on it. I want someone to question, someone to say, "Wait a minute." Someone might not have voted because the number, but we're not getting there. So it kind of loses its, you know,
the thing
excitement.
They don't want the game to expose the contestants the way that they may expose themselves, because that's just kind of like it's getting close to production interference, and that could be dangerous because they've revealed the votes as usual, because when they tally the votes, they see who the votes were for, and if there are enough votes to eliminate a person be revealed, then they stop there. That's how they that's how they always have done it. And so even if there's a vote or two missing, people wouldn't really care because, when you think about it, in the past,
I want it to matter. I want to lose the vote when it matters, when it's going to affect the game. When you lose that vote, and you losing that vote might have your friend go home because you can't keep them.
Yeah, we might see it down the line. We might see that down the line further on in the game, hopefully.
As long as it doesn't hurt Michael, I don't care.
Save Michael.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. And then we go back to La Vida, and here we see Laurel telling Dom about Dez's plans. And Dom is freaking out just a little bit.
Just a smidge.
Just a smidge.
He's not overreacting at all.
No. This is calm, Dom. This is
just relaxing. Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. All right. Yeah. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. Let me just process this and think about what's going on. I'll be right back. No.
Yeah.
That's not. But that wouldn't be Dom if that's not what he did.
No, and Dom after that tell this plan, and Kellen's not having it. Kellen's not believing it.
Kellen doesn't even believe it. Kellen's like, vote me out. Me? Nobody would ever vote me out. I mean, not Kellen. Are you crazy? They've been loyal. They've been me since day one. Never. And I'm just like, get over yourself.
Yeah, she's kind of half in denial as to this point. Because she thinks she's been playing an under the radar game, but people have been seeing right through that. And
the one who's playing the under radar game so far, but it might change next week, is Laurel. Not Kellen. But Kellen thinks she's, the next Richard Hatch and Boston Rob. And I don't dislike her by any means. She's a wonderful person. She really aggravated me this episode. And again, it's the edit, because there could have been stuff she could have said without them showing them. Like, you know what? Maybe she did say that, but I don't know. This might be something to think about. And they didn't show it. Nope. So all they did is show, the egomaniac Kellen and not maybe the other reasonable Kellen who said maybe something else happened. We don't know.
No, we don't know. So the next day, all the Navidis were having a chat off to the side. And Michael and Jonathan just thought, you know what? They're just going to chat on their own. Let's go. They wouldn't really care if we go look for the idol. So let's go. So they looked for the idol, and Jonathan finds something. He found the Brain versus Brown versus Beauty 2 idol from Ty.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments in tribal moments history ever was when Ty looked at Scott and said, I'm not using it. I screamed in my house. I was so happy. It was one of the best for me tribal moments ever.
Yeah.
Just because I never liked Scott. What's the other guy's name? Jason. I didn't like them ever. And I didn't like how they talked to Ty. I didn't like how they treated Ty ever. And Ty was finally like, F you. Bye.
Yeah. Even though those two were his basically closest allies, it was very satisfying to see him, just look at Scott in the face and say, no, not using this. It was such
good TV. I didn't care if it was good for his game or not. It was good for my TV.
Yeah. And so we see the letter from the idol. It says that this piece of the idol is powerless by itself, but if he can combine it with the other half of this idol, then it will be a real immunity idol. but it's hidden underneath their shelter.
Right, and for me, I wish that they would have said basically like someone else has to find the other half, and again, it's going to work like ties. So let's see if history could reverse itself and make this idol work together as one.
Yeah, but
because really, there's no effort into finding the one underneath the what's it called? What the heck is it called?
Shelter?
The shelter. It's been done before. People have always found idols underneath the shelter. So for me, it would have been way more exciting if he had to approach Michael and say, you need to find the other half of this idol. And then they have to work together as a team to figure out when is the best time to use it. And they both have to agree because both of them have half of it. So it has to be a time when one of them decide, okay, and if the other one goes, the other half goes. You know, so that would have been more exciting for me.
Here's the thing. The idol underneath the shelter is usually really hard to get because there are usually a lot of eyes around the camp and around the fire. So it's a little trickier to find, you know,
but
compared to something out in the woods.
Somebody that was caught finding the idol underneath the shelter.
Because everybody else was good with their timing. But
as I'm saying, so nobody's ever been, no other survivor contestant has ever been caught getting it. Yeah. So basically, it's been done. It would have been more exciting if Michael had to get it, right? And they had to use it together. Okay. For me, it just would have brought more tension and excitement that now this puts them together and now they have to decide when is the best time to use it. Do they use it on Michael? Do they use it on Donathan? When is the best time to use it? Rather than Donathan has an idol.
Yeah, so Donathan tells the rest of the Malolos about the clue and about where that other half of the idol is. And so the rest of the Malolos just kind of create some sort of diversion or cover up for him to reach underneath the shelter to get the other half of the idol. And that idol is now complete.
Right. Listen, I really think Donathan is a sweetheart. There's something very endearing and likable about Donathan. I just wish she hadn't told all of them because it's never good to tell that many people you have an idol. Yeah. I mean, the numbers are kind of getting low.
But the thing is, Malolos have to stay strong. Otherwise, Nvidia's just going to pick them off at this point because they don't really know who's willing to swing over. And so they have to let each other know about their idols and how to use them and voting strategies and things like that. So I don't think it's that bad of an idea for Donathan to tell them about this idol. The only person I would have been worried about is Laurel, but Laurel is really tight with him as well. So
no, obviously the only person I would have told if I was Donathan was Laurel, because Laurel has been with Donathan since the very beginning when Donathan was having a hard time missing his family, and Laurel is the one who sat down next to him, and that's when their friendship began at the very beginning. So Laurel would have been the only one I would have told. I wouldn't have told the rest of them because it's just too many people. You can't tell half the group I have an idol.
Yeah.
There's 10 people left and you're telling 4 or 5 people you have an idol.
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. With that, we head into the immunity challenge, and it's an endurance challenge where you have to balance the ball on top of this little round platform thingy that is just kind of glued onto 2 pieces of rope. You have to hold onto the rope and let the ball balance, and if you drop your ball, you're out. This was a really fast challenge.
Yeah, everybody. It was one after. I would have went out right away.
Yeah, I probably couldn't have held on either because, yeah, that looked like it was really hard because the rope is not stable, and so it'll swing around a lot. So a lot of swings with the ropes with a lot of people in this challenge, and we can see within the first minute, Wendell, Jenna, Des, Laurel, and Angela, they all drop back to back, and then after a few minutes later, Jonathan, Dom, and Michael, they all drop really fast as well. And then we're down to Kellen, Sebastian, and Chelsea. The only person that really needed this at this point was Kellen, because Des wanted to get her out. Sebastian and Chelsea don't really need it because nobody sees their game.
No, nobody. And what's funny is when they first started the challenge, I thought Sebastian was the odds-on favorite, and part of it was because he's a surfer, and I feel like you have to have really good balance and all of that to be a surfer. So I said this might be his challenge.
Yeah.
He did make it to the end, and I was hoping he won. It didn't really matter who won. I mean, I wanted Michael to win, but if Michael didn't win, I would have been fine with Sebastian, just because give him something,
Yeah, and it would take the safety away from the people that really need it, and we would probably see something interesting.
You might have seen Chelsea go. You don't know. I mean, Chelsea's won a couple of idols, so I don't know why she's not on anyone's radar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Chelsea wins this one, surprisingly, and she's safe for this vote. She doesn't really need it.
No, she wasn't going anywhere. Who?
I don't know. They get back to camp, and Dom is a little bit worried that all the goats are coming back to bite him, or they might. And Des still wants to take out Kellen, and Kellen goes and talks to Des and Chelsea about Dom's paranoia, and like how she thinks he's like freaking out, and like we need to rein him back in, and
hilarious. It's hilarious, this conversation, because she is so believing that nobody wanted to flip on her, that she's telling this to them, and her ego is so big in this episode that she's like, yeah, they said you wanted to flip on me.
Yeah, she's completely
crazy.
completely speaking to deaf ears, because Des wasn't having any of it, and Chelsea was Chelsea. And Laurel goes and talks to Dom at this point and tells him about Des's plan. And Dominic goes and tells Des that he knows about it, and Des goes and confronts Laurel and freaks out and yells at her for telling her plan to the Navides. What do you think of Laurel's move to out Des at this point?
I understand that at this point, I think she feels like maybe Kellen is better for her game because she really needs Dominic and Wendell. Mm-hmm. But I really was hoping that they were able to move past all this and work together. Part of it is that I would have loved to have seen more people of color at the end.
Yeah.
You and I mean, I'm Puerto Rican.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not white. You're not white. So it would be nice to see people of color at the end rather than a whole bunch of, and I don't mean white people, that by any means, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
But just to see a whole lot more diversity in the end. Mm-hmm. So I was really hoping that somehow they were going to work together because I like them both.
Yeah.
They both have similar games.
Yeah.
Des is a little bit more loud
yeah.
than Laurel. Laurel just kind of keeps it in, and Des is like, F you. I mean, and that's one thing I liked about Des is she's real.
Yeah, the thing is about on Celebrity Big Brother we had this BGM alliance between Omarosa and Keisha, but
Keisha was nothing.
Keisha was nothing.
Keisha didn't even belong there.
But that's the game is a little more even keeled over there. But at this point here in Survivor, they both came into this merge with such a difference in numbers. This BGM thing is a little harder to work out. And at this point, I don't blame Laurel for trying to blow up Dez's game because it takes the attention off of the Malolos.
Yes, I agree.
And it breaks up the Navides. It breaks the Navidi group so that the Malolos can go in and try to strengthen their own line. So I don't. I appreciate Laurel's plan, although I as well wish that they could have worked together. But it's hard. It's hard at this point. And then because Dom knows about this plan, and Dom goes off and talks to Michael and tries to strike up a plan to work together, which is good. I'm happy with that. Hello?
Yeah, sorry. I thought I was waiting. I thought you were finishing.
I was like, I'm waiting for a reaction.
Did he break up? Because I'm not hearing anything anymore.
Oh, no.
What were you saying again?
No. I'm just saying that Dom goes to Michael and tries to work out an alliance with him.
I like that because Dom grew on me. I couldn't stand him in the beginning.
Yeah.
He aggravated me to no end. But he grew on me.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like Dom now. I think that he's come into the game and he's not as hyper as he was in the beginning. So I thought that was a good concept on his part. Like, he wanted to keep Michael, and I was okay with keeping Michael, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So I liked that, but then of course Kellen tells him, like, scolds Dominic like a mother when Dominic speaks to Kellen later, and like scolds him. Yeah. Like, no, Michael goes now. I was like, holy crap. Like, calm down.
Like Kellen is basically at this point clawing at a blackboard, trying to keep this thing together. But at some point, you gotta keep your own place in this game. And if you blow your own game just to try to keep this thing together, you're gonna be next.
Agreed.
She's putting her neck out there for whatever reason she thought was okay. And it's only putting a bigger target on herself. So we might see that come to fruition a little later. And at this point, Laura and Jenna go to Kellen and basically agree on this story. But Kellen is still, Kellen's not gonna take it from anybody. Doesn't matter how many people talk to her. Doesn't matter how many people tell her. It's what she believes in, and she's not gonna get bucked from that. And yeah. And at this point,
really aggravating this episode. I would love to know what Randy would have said about Kellen this episode, because he's been a fan of Kellen since the beginning. I haven't, and it's not that I don't like her as a person. I don't like her as a game player.
Yeah.
I thought she was way overrated than she deserved to be. And like today's episode just proved way back for the way she talked to Angela that day. We're like, well, you're with us, but you're on the bottom. Yeah. That's basically what she said to Angela that day. So I was really hoping this was the Kellen edit boot.
Unfortunately, she tribal, and there's a whole lot of talk that didn't really amount to anything.
It was a great tribal, though.
It was a great tribal. It was a great tribal. And when the votes came out the way that it did, I kind of freaked out a little bit. I was like, oh no, they're gonna take out Michael. Because in the beginning, you see a few votes come out for Dez, and you're like, okay, so Dez is going. And then when it turned around and 2 votes came out for Michael, I was like, oh, this is it. Majority is going for Michael, and Michael's out. Because I thought the 4 votes for Dez were all from the Malolos. Yeah, so I was like, oh, the VDs are grouping up, and there's 7 votes for Michael, and I was like, ah, this is it. And
but what was your favorite moment at Tribal?
My favorite moment at Tribal? When Jonathan was doing that whole
yeah,
that was great.
And everybody was saying like, no, Des, you said this. Like, we're all lying, and you're the only one that's telling the truth. Which I thought it was a fun Tribal. I mean. Yeah. I'm really loving the editing this season because, I mean, I did think it might be Des, but then I still thought it might be Kellen or it might be Michael.
Yeah.
Like, the editing has been spectacular. You usually know in past seasons who's going home, and you don't anymore. And bravo, because it makes the episode a whole lot more fun to go into Tribal and not know who's going. And then we have a great chaotic Tribal, and then still don't know who's going, because sometimes in Tribal you'll know, like, oh, nobody's really budging. And granted, I do think minds are made up in Tribal before they get there, but today's Tribal, or that Tribal, could have been one where votes were changed there because of the dynamics at Tribal.
I don't know, but it's an 8-2 vote. So I don't know. I think their minds were made up before heading in.
Who were the votes for Michael?
The votes for Michael were Chelsea and Dez.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder why Chelsea voted Michael.
I don't know. Chelsea has been a mystery. It's like I don't know where her head is at, because she's put through a few crazy votes here and there. So I don't know. Either she's really out of the loop, or she's not seeing the situation the way other people see it, or she's just trying to be creative with her game. I don't know. And if she knows that she's gonna be in the line of fire, why didn't Des just throw a vote Kellen's way? That's kind of what I figured. Like if this is causing you so much drama, why not send a message and throw a vote to Kellen instead of.
I would have really have liked to see a vote to Kellen, just to see how she would have reacted.
Kellen would have freaked out next week. But apparently I think they might think that there was a plan to vote out Michael. I think that's what the Navidis were talking about. Maybe it's from that little group chat that they had earlier. So she thought she was, because she the whole round she kept on trying to convince people that she's not really strong, and they're all voting out Michael, even though people knew that she was basically lying to their face. Yeah, so I guess she's in her last ditch effort to seem like she's loyal to the Navidis. She threw her vote to Michael, but it was for naught, and she is out.
It sucked to see her go. But you know what? I like her. She played a good game, and she gave me good TV.
Yeah,
I liked that a lot.
She was a part of Saul's team. We didn't really get a chance to get any sort of final words from Saul, because I think he hasn't seen the episode yet. Yeah, but so Saul loses Des at this point. I really liked how she went for it this round, and she really tries to build up a resume for herself by trying to flip the vote. Her only obstacle was Laurel. If it wasn't for Laurel, I think Des would still be here. I think the votes would have been flipped against the VDs, and it would be a very different game going forward. Yeah, but I like Desiree's chutzpah with this, and if she comes back, I'm excited to see her again.
Yeah, I liked her.
Yeah. And with that, we
don't have the draft. I don't think that Randy posted it.
No, we don't have the draft update. They're still in Boston having fun with Rob and the gang. But he said so. Yeah. So next week we'll have most of the crew back. Did we see any previews for next week's episode?
I don't remember them.
Okay, I don't remember them either.
You don't either. Well, I guess we can talk about who the MVP was.
MVP, go ahead.
I'm going to give it to Laurel. I felt like she got what she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And she worked hard on it. If the whole outcome today was at that episode was because of Laurel. So I'm giving it to Laurel. If you would have picked Laurel and I went and I didn't want to pick the same one, I probably just would have picked Dominic, because I think Dominic also worked hard to keep Michael safe. I think he did not want to vote out Michael.
Yeah.
And he was fine getting rid of Des because Des was going to go after him. Yeah. But my vote is Laurel.
Okay. So I was gonna pick Laura as well. She's the clear pick out of this episode. So I'm just gonna pick somebody different. I'm gonna say Jonathan for finding the idol.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not Dominic?
Why not Dominic? I mean, I appreciate Dominic, but he was flailing a little too much with this.
Okay.
With this episode, and it's a little too much freaking out, and you got to be calm, cool, and collected, like Jonathan was. So I appreciated that. And with that, we have come to the end of this episode, and thank you all for joining us or watching from the archives. Where can they find you on Twitter?
No, as you know, I'm not going to say the underscores anymore, but Kim is bored.
That's Kim _is _ on the scoreboard. I'll do it for you. You can find me on Twitter at Marco310, and you can also find my channel where I'm covering Survivor New Zealand with Doug this season. It was a very exciting premiere, and we're excited to see where this next episode takes us. Find me on Twitter.
And you also could find us when Tar comes back. We will be doing the Tarcast.
Yeah, whenever that comes back, we don't have
and hopefully hopefully Doug can join us.
Of course, yeah, that would be fun as well.
I don't even remember if he did any Tarcast last season. I don't remember. I don't remember yesterday, so I'm just just babbling. No need to listen anymore.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and on YouTube at MarcoPolo310. So yeah, that's it for this week. If you're watching Survivor New Zealand, join us again on Monday. And with that, we bid you goodbye. See ya.
Bye-bye.